Trauma sensitizes the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, which is the body's central stress response system. You can think of this as the juncture of our central nervous system and endocrine system, which makes us more reactive to stress and more likely to increase the stress hormone, which is called cortisol. In certain situations, hormones like cortisol are crucial. Cortisol is the primary stress hormone. It increases sugar in the bloodstream, enhances your brain's use of glucose, and increases the availability of substances that repair tissues. Remove the stressor and the body's hormones should respond in kind. But here's the problem. Someone who is exposed to trauma may continue to produce these hormones, leading to adverse effects on the body over time. This hormone production can lead to the physical effects, some of which you see here. They may be sensitive to sound, touch, and smell in particular. They may be hypervigilant or overly alert or on edge. They may also experience physical pain and exhaustion. In addition to physical impacts, there are many behavioral, emotional, and relational impacts of trauma, and these continue to vary from person to person. You see several examples here on the screen, but perhaps the most common emotional reaction to trauma is feeling fearful and anxious. In addition, anger is a very common response. There might be anger at the person or situation responsible. There may be anger if we blame ourselves for what happened. We might fear connection to another person in order to avoid feeling the pain of the trauma. Also, if there is still an overabundance of cortisol, it might manifest itself as impulsivity or hyperactivity. We often feel sad and cry after a highly traumatic event. The crying can be a way for the nervous system to come down from the stress response since crying is associated with the nervous system, used to calm the mind and body. The sadness can also come from feeling overwhelmed by a world that feels terribly threatening. Mood and anxiety disorders affect a large percentage of children with trauma histories. In young children, this can be seen as generalized fear, regression to earlier developmental stages, separation anxiety, irritability, and hypervigilance. Trauma may be the most striking and overt causes of low self-esteem as well. Being forced into a physical and emotional position against one's will make it very hard to like the world, trust oneself, or trust others. Overall, this can profoundly impact self-esteem. Additionally, students that have had traumatic experiences inflicted by adults may perceive that adults are not to be trusted. Students entering a new school or a new classroom may be careful around adults and will watch closely for indications that they need to protect themselves. This sense of hypervigilance can make it difficult for them to connect with adults in a school setting. Though difficult at times, connection is possible. It's important we maintain hope and focus on the resiliency of our students with the supports offered.